All right, let's talk about a room you use every single day, but I bet you never really think about it. We're going to open the door on the surprising, sometimes pretty messy, and honestly ingenious history of the bathroom. No, seriously, think about it for a second. It's your own private sanctuary, right? It's a total marvel of engineering, and it's a huge reason we're all so healthy. We just completely take it for granted. But you gotta realize, for most of human history, having a private, clean space like that was an absolutely unimaginable luxury. Yeah, before we had these sleek porcelain thrones, your options were, let's just say, limited. Check out these Victorian commodes. They're basically just fancy wooden boxes made to hide a chamber pot. I mean, sure, it's a little more dignified than an outhouse, maybe, but it didn't solve the biggest problem. What do you do with it once the pot is full? Okay, so let's dive into the pretty messy history of life before the bathroom. And I'm going to warn you, it is not pretty. For centuries, dealing with human waste wasn't a private thing. It was a very public and, frankly, disgusting problem. I mean, in cities, people would just empty their chamber pots right out the window. Seriously. Castles had these things called privies, which were basically just chutes that dropped everything directly into the moat below. Yikes. And get this, even the magnificent Palace of Versailles, with all its glorious fountains, had no indoor bathrooms for its 5,000 residents. All of that filth, it had to go somewhere, and it usually ended up right in the water supply. And this wasn't just gross, it was deadly. When cholera, a horrible disease spread by contaminated water, ripped through London in the 1830s, the city was finally forced to deal with its massive sanitation crisis. But here's what's so fascinating. This whole lack of sanitation, it wasn't a universal problem. While medieval Europe was, literally drowning in its own filth, some ancient civilizations had already cracked the code. We're talking as far back as 3000 BC, where homes in parts of India had private bathrooms. And then around 1700 BC, Minoan palaces on the island of Crete had actual flushing toilets that used rainwater. So the technology existed, but for some reason in Europe, it was just completely lost for thousands of years. So, when did the West finally get back on track? Well, the first big attempt in the modern era was this custom invention for, of all people, the Queen of England. And it did not go well. I mean, just look at this incredible gap in time. After those Minoans, it took more than 3,000 years for the flushing toilet to make a comeback. Then, in 1596, this guy, Sir John Harington, presents his brand new creation, a water closet, to Queen Elizabeth I. On paper, it sounded revolutionary. In practice, it had one massive, stinking flaw. Okay, so here was the deal. Harrington's toilet was connected straight to the cesspool. No trap, no barrier, nothing. So every single time it was flushed, a giant plume of foul-smelling sewer gas would come wafting right back up into the royal chambers. The Queen, as you can imagine, was not amused. And just like that, the whole idea got shelved for almost another 200 years. So how did we finally get from a smelly royal inconvenience to the modern throne we know and love today? Well, it took a few unsung heroes of hygiene who engineered the solution, one crucial piece at a time. It all started in 1775, when a guy named Alexander Cummings patented the S-trap. It's that simple little curve in the pipe that holds water, creating a seal that blocks all those nasty sewer gases. Boom, that solved the Queen's #1 complaint right there. Then, in the late 1800s, you've got Thomas Crapper, and yes, that is his real name, who perfected the siphoning flush, which is what gives the toilet its powerful action. And finally, Thomas Twyford came along and created the first one-piece ceramic toilet. Totally hygienic, super easy to clean, and no more leaky metal parts. The trifecta. And all that genius comes together in this really simple process. When you push that handle, water rushes into the bowl, it fills up that S-trap, and that creates this powerful siphon that just pulls everything down the drain. Then, as the tank refills, it puts just enough clean water back in the bowl to seal the trap. It's just an elegant piece of physics that we use every single day without even thinking about it. Okay, so with the toilet itself finally perfected, the next big step was designing a whole room around it. This is where the bathroom evolves from just a functional closet into a real space. A space that started to reflect our changing ideas about health, comfort, and even style. Just take the bathtub, for example. For centuries, it wasn't a fixture at all. It was basically a portable piece of furniture. You'd literally have to drag it into the kitchen to be near the stove for hot water. Some of them even disguise themselves as cabinets. Look at this fold-away bathtub. It is a world away from the built-in spotlight tubs that have become the centerpieces of modern bathrooms. So in the early 1900s, once we really started understanding germs, bathrooms became almost clinical. Think stark, white tiles, super easy to sanitize, with all the pipes exposed for quick repairs. But now, fast forward to today, and the bathroom has become a personal retreat. It's a place to relax, with luxuries like whirlpool tubs, steam showers, and custom lighting. It's not just about hygiene anymore, it's about our overall well-being. But our journey isn't over yet. The modern bathroom is still evolving, and right now it's being shaped by two huge forces: the need for sustainability and the drive to make them accessible for everyone. 1.6. Remember that number. This single number represents a massive shift in how we design bathrooms. See, back in 1994, the U.S. Energy Policy Act came into effect. It mandated that all new toilets could use no more than 1.6 gallons of water per flush. That is a huge drop from the 3, 4, or even 5 gallons older models were using. That one law has saved literally trillions of gallons of water. But it's not just about saving water. The other big challenge today is designing bathrooms that are safe and usable for people of all ages and all abilities. And that's where something called universal design comes in. You know, an accessible restroom is so much more than just a bigger stall. Every single detail is about safety and independence. For example, the doors have to swing out, not in. Why? So they can still be opened even if someone has fallen inside. The stall has to have enough space for a wheelchair's full turning radius. And those grab bars you see, they have to be reinforced to support 250 pounds in adults' full weight, because a standard towel bar would just rip right out of the wall. These aren't minor details. They make a world of difference. So what's next? Where do we go from here? Well, this might be a clue. This right here is a composting toilet. It uses zero water, none. A tiny little fan handles the ventilation, and natural decomposition turns human waste back into nutrient-rich compost. It's a design that might just finally close the loop on a sanitation problem we've been wrestling with for thousands of years. When you think about it, from moats and cesspools to siphons and smart sensors, the story of the bathroom is really the story of human progress. It's a testament to our ongoing quest for health, for comfort, and for sustainability. So the next time you step into your bathroom, I hope you'll see more than just a simple room. I hope you'll see the centuries of human ingenuity that are packed into that small but absolutely essential space.